this is something that is going to rile some feathers because people see it differently. I see it as the scripture says it. Some people will say it'll start in the morning. Some people will say it'll start in the evening. So I celebrate it from evening till evening. That's a day to me. Yes, daylight happens when the sun comes up, but it's when we are cleansed in the evening time, when we are resting, during our time that the Father works on us when we are sleeping. And Yahuwah said, "Let light come to be," and light came to be. And Yahuwah saw the light, that it was good, and Yahuwah separated the light from the darkness. And Yahuwah called the light Yom, and the dark he called Layla. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first Yom. This is Bereshith, Genesis, chapter 1, verses 3 through 5. And the clean one shall sprinkle the unclean on the third Yom, and on the seventh Yom, and on the seventh Yom he shall cleanse himself, and shall wash his garments, and bathe in water, and shall be clean in the evening. Bamidbar, Numbers, chapter 19, verse 19. So these people that are saying that the day starts in the morning are incorrect. The cleansing happens in the evening. Like if something gets unclean during the day, if you touch something, when the sun sets, that's when you get cleaned. And any being who eats a carcass, or what was torn by a beast, be he a native or a stranger, he shall wash his garments and bathe in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Then he shall be clean. And if he does not wash or bathe his body, then he shall bear his error. O Ikra, Leviticus 17, verses 15 to 16. These scriptures are telling us that we are clean after sunset. We're not required to have the light for being able to be cleaned, because the light that it is Yahuwah. Yahuwah's light will cleanse us at any time of the day, but it specifically says in Scripture the cleansing happens in the evening time. So those that are saying that the day starts in the morning are not correct. The ones that are doing it where it's the evening till evening are correct, because that's exactly how Scripture says it to be. You need to follow the way that Yahuwah leads you. You need to do research, but sometimes too much research is just that, too much, because it can bring you away from the Father Yahuwah. You have to be careful when you're reading the Apocrypha, because some of these books were written way after the people had been, that they were no longer here. They were written centuries later, or even by people that were not in the tribes of Yasharal. So, it's one of those things that you have to pay attention and know what you're dealing with. And use discernment when you're reading. and test the spirit that you're hearing from, because you can get false information just like you can get good information, because you can have something that's talking to you. That's why it says always test the Ruach. Test what it is. Test it in Scripture. Don't let something misguide you into believing something that's not in Scripture. For by those 3 passages that I said, you can tell that it says it's evening to evening. People get messed over by listening to others that are telling them incorrect things. I'm going to always lead you to Scripture. The Scripture you have to read and use your discernment. I gave you the Scriptures, I gave you the books that it was in, and I gave you the chapter and the verse. And by all means, check it out and pray to the Father Yahuwah always if it's correct information. Don't just be a leaf in the wind that goes from person to person, or has to be one of those that reads it at the bottom where it's somebody else's interpretation and not from the Ruach HaKodesh. So some of these people that have got this kind of stuff have got so many followers, and it means that the blood is on their hands because they're giving wrong information. So be careful who you follow. Always go back to Scripture and test it. Don't let anybody persuade you not to follow the way Scripture is.